Now let's talk about the second thing. Second things in the terms of what has been changed in the field level in the material master. So for that, let me just create one of the material. I'll just select this, let's say industry, sector and material type. So this is, let's say this is raw material and industry sector is, let's go for chemical industry. Enter. So I'll be entering the basic information like let's say basic settings, and what I want to show you is this foreign trade, export data, and if possible foreign trade import. Export it is showing in, yeah, foreign trade import data. Let me just go through this. So the other things are same, like it is asking you for a plant, you'll be providing the plant. What was the plant that we created? Is it SL02? Am I right? I hope this is something which we created in the last session, the enterprise structure.
Yeah, I think it was SL02.
Okay. Okay, so this is something which is still missing. Company code SL02 is not set up in the materials management. This is because we are not initialized the company code. I'll do it from here. Okay, this is, even you can go from SPRO. I'll show you how to do that. This is again the same thing which we are following in ECC also, nothing new. So for our company code, which is SL02, we need to initialize this. So we need to tell the system which particular period is open as of now. So we are in 2017, and let me check what exactly is the fiscal year variant which we assign to our company. So I'll go to OBY6 to find out the fiscal year variant.
I think you assigned an Indian variant, which is March to April, April to March, right?
V3, right? V3.
V3, yeah. So which
Okay,
means this is quarter one, Q1.
Yes, this is V3. So quarter ones means we are in April, so this should be 2017 and 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all the things I'm not taking, I'm just clicking on save. So at least now the company code has been initialized. I'll go back from here. Even I'll close this, and if I do this again, it will throw the error. So it is always better to go out and come again. So MM01, same thing. I'm just entering here and clicking on basic data, foreign trade export and foreign trade import. Plant, sales hog and distribution channel. Okay, now it is going, allowing us to go inside. So test material for SL02. Base unit of measurement, I will just keep it as EA. Material group, I'll just keep the first one. Okay, all other things. What I want to show you is foreign trade export and foreign trade import. Now, in order to make the comparison, let me open the ECC system first so that we can understand what has been changed. See, earlier this was also restricted to 18. Now the screen you can see, it is the field length is supported up to 40. It doesn't mean that it will always store 40 characters, but at least from the technical point of view, it is supported. Okay, so now I'll do the same thing. I'll just select any of the industry. Let's go for retail or something. Material type, again, I'm going to select the same one. Let's say ROH. Okay, and selection of views. I'll select the same view, basic one, foreign trade export and foreign trade import. Now, plant, let me take it as 0001. Distribution channel, let me just see, 01.
While you're doing that, so this activation, is it like every, for example, if there's a landscape development, test, quality and then production, so do you need to do it every plant level, or is it transportable kind of thing?
It is transportable.
Okay.
It is transportable. So you cannot do directly on a one particular system. It has to be done in through the transport. Okay. So this is again the same thing. So I just enter any of this, base unit of measurement same, and material group also same. Now we need to understand this particular thing. Now before I talk about this, let me tell you what has been changed from the foreign trade point of view. So in ECC, we had foreign trade management, which was the component which was available in materials management from procurement point of view, and sales and distribution from the sales point of view. So it was basically used to comply with the foreign trade regulations. Now, you must be also aware that apart from the foreign trade management, there was also another component called as Global Trade Services, SAP GTS. Now, foreign trade management, which was the component which was available within the ECC. Within the ECC means there is no separate installation, it was not an external service. Within the same configuration, configuration, you can configure the foreign trade management, and you can even do the transactions from the normal material management and also from the sales and distribution. While the GTS was an external component. It was needed to be installed separately, and it was connected through to your ECC. It is like CRM and SRM, which are connected as the external interfaces. Foreign trade was being used from years, but around 8 to 10 years now, when SAP came up with GTS, most of the customers, I'm telling you according to my experience, it may happen that some of your customers are still on foreign trade management, but according to me, because foreign trade management was not supporting all the functionalities which are required from the compliance point of view, that is the reason most of the big companies, they already migrated themselves to GTS, Global Trade Services. Okay, and now since most of the customers are already on GTS, from SAP's point of view, most of the customers are already shifted to GTS. And that is the reason there is no point when we are building a new product, we should not concentrate on the old functionalities, which are used by very few customers, and they should also go now to GTS. They should also concentrate on the new functionalities rather than sticking to the old functionalities. So that is the reason the old foreign trade management, which was available within ECC, is no more available in SAP S4. And if you want to comply with the foreign trade regulations, there is only one option: go for GTS as a separate service. Okay, so foreign trade functionality from MM and SD, they are not available in SAP S4HANA. That is the reason you can see the fields which are available in the foreign trade functionality are very much restricted. Whatever fields are available, they are only for intrastate purpose. Only intrastate reporting is supported as of now in SAP S4 from foreign trade point of view. Otherwise, whatever things like you can see here, the EU market organization, preferences, legal control, whatever you are entering there, these things are not at all available. Only this foreign trade data, which is for the intrastate purpose, and this origin information, some of the very basic fields are available. Otherwise, this EU market organization preferences and legal control, they are not at all available in the material master. So this is my material master in SAP S4. This foreign trade data, whatever I was getting here, you can see all these things are available as it is. But from here, out of these three options, you can see only origin is available. Only these two fields, country of origin and region of origin. All these things, they are now shifted to GTS, even the legal control. Okay, this is true for the sales as well as purchase, MM as well as SD. See, even in the foreign trade import also, you'll find that all those things are not available. Okay, so again, telling you the same thing, in ECC, we had two options: foreign trade management, which was the old functionality. Some of the customers might be still using, but that is something which is completely replaced with GTS in most of the clients. And that is the reason when SAP was developing a new product, they were thought of coming up with foreign trade, because most of the customers are already using GTS. And even if the customers are not using, now if they are going for SAP S4HANA, they should look for the new opportunities which are available in the SAP portfolio. So they decided to completely remove the foreign trade management functionality. And for each and every customer, now it is mandatory, if they want to comply with the legal requirements, they have to go for GTS. Okay?
That is the question, Gaurav. So when you say they have to go for GTS, is this GTS added as a bolt-on onto the S4HANA, or is it included in the S4HANA?
No, it is not included. It is still available as external service. Okay, and it is, even the licensing part is completely different as of now. So that is something which might be the problem to the customers, because earlier if they were using the foreign trade functionality that was available within your ECC, and you don't need to pay anything extra. But now when you are saying that SAP GTS has become mandatory, so if you want to implement that, the implementation cost, the licensing cost, that is something which needs to be borne by the customer. So it is not included. It is still available as the external service.
Thank you. Thank you.
But going forward, yes, but going forward, why this is done and what is going to be happening in future. So it is also going to be in the same direction as I told you. What SAP is trying to do is whatever external services are available, they are trying to merge that within SAP S4. So like CRM and SRM, APO, we discussed that all these functionalities in coming in near future, we are expecting that all those functionalities which are available on the external services till now through the interfaces, they will be merged within the core functionalities of SAP S4. So GTS is also going to be in the same direction, but that will definitely take time because currently SAP is focusing more on APO, SRM, and CRM, even EWM. So these things will come first, and then they will think about the GTS. Okay, so this is first thing that you can understand that the field level changes are there. Apart from that, if you go to purchasing other tabs, you will not find much of difference. There are obviously some differences in MRP views, all MRP views, MRP1, MRP2, MRP3, and MRP4. All 4 MRP views, there are some changes, okay? But it will be more helpful when you understand what has been changed in MRP first, rather than directly going into identifying the differences of why exactly these fields are deleted. It will make more sense when you understand how MRP has been changed. So normally what I do is the changes which are related to the MRP view of the material master, I take towards the end. Towards the end means whenever we'll be discussing about the MRP live functionality and MRP on HANA functionality. Right, so as of now, it is good if you remember 2 things from the material master point of view. First one is the length extension. You are provided with the option of going up to 40 characters, which was available in ECC also, but it was only available if you are implementing SAP Note or you are implementing a DIM solution. But now by default, SAP provides this option. Second thing is from the foreign trade point of view, since the foreign trade functionality is not available, you will find that the entries or the fields which are available in the foreign trade import and export data tab, they are very much limited since this functionality is not available. And as I told you, the third thing is related to MRP, where you will find some of the changes in the fields which are available in ECC vis-a-vis the fields which are available in SAP S4. And the reason is that MRP has been simplified and you are having 2 options, MRP on HANA and MRP live. So once we understand what these 2 things are, then it will make more sense to understand why there are changes in the field level. So that we'll discuss when we talk about that topic. Any question till now before we go to the next thing? Okay, so from master data point of view, we discussed about the 2 things. We first started off with the changes in the customer and vendor master data, and then we discussed about the changes in the,
so you said that the business partners need to be in sync, right, to use this long material functionality?
Sorry, can you come back with it?
Like even the linked business partners, like the vendors or from whom we receive the materials, or like they should be in, they must also be using this long material functionality, right? Like external interfaces.
External interfaces, yes. So if the external interfaces, you are using the external interfaces, so that external interfaces also should support the extended field functionality. Otherwise, that will create the inconsistencies.
Like we can take an example of vendor, right? So we have this vendor material number in the PO, right? So sometimes we use that field. Like, will there be any impact on that? Or?
No, I got your point. So whatever additional fields you have, there is no impact on that. We are only talking about the main material number. We are not talking about the customer material number and vendor material number.
Because you said they also need to use the 40 character field, right?
No. I told you that if you are using the interfaces in terms of interfaces with CRM, interfaces with SRM, or maybe APO, in that case, the second system which you are connecting with your ECC or current SAP S4 system, that must be supporting that extended functionality, not for the vendor numbers and vendor part numbers or customer part numbers. Okay, so what I'll do now is, we need to start now one by one, because master data is done now. We need to start the functionalities. So first we'll start off with the changes in the materials management, then we'll proceed towards the sales and distribution, and finally we'll proceed towards the production planning. So today I will tell you what has been changed theoretically, and tomorrow, starting from tomorrow, I'll be showing you the practical scenarios where we'll be creating the purchase orders and we'll be doing the gate receipts, and we'll see how the data modeling has been changed. We'll see how the new output determination will work, what has been changed from the pricing point of view. But before that, let's try to understand what exactly we are going to see when we'll be seeing the practical scenarios. So let me just open the PPT first. Can you see the PPT now?
Yes, go.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, let's talk about the data model. So I hope you are aware of what exactly is data model, because we talked about this particular thing even in our demos in the first and second sessions also. So what exactly is a data model? Data model means the way in which the data is going to be stored in the tables. So as we discussed earlier also, that there are a lot of changes in terms of how the data will be stored in the tables. So earlier, if we were using the aggregate tables, indices tables, I'll give you the examples of that also. What exactly are the aggregate tables? What exactly are the indices tables? So now the plan is to remove more and more aggregates and indices and try to have common tables where all the data can be stored at one place, right? So that is something called as simplification in the data model. Now, simplification in the data model has been done throughout all the areas. Like in FI also, you'll find a lot of tables are completely removed. They are converted as the views, and as you must be knowing that the one main table which is from the financial point of view is AC Doc A. Similar to that, from materials management point of view also, there are some changes. There are some tables which are not going to be available as they were available in ECC, and there is one new table in place called as MATDOC. So that particular thing, I'll be just telling you what exactly has been changed first, and then we'll go to the next topics. So the SAP ERP 6.0, which means whatever version we were using till now, it may be 6.0 or it may be lesser than 6.0. So the inventory management data model consists of two document tables. Whenever you perform any inventory movement, whenever you do any issues, any receipts, normally these two tables are affected in the background, MKPF and MSEC. MKPF for header and MSEC for the line level information. Additionally, see, we all know that MKPF and MSEC, they were always getting updated in the background. But what we don't know is these are not the only tables. There are a lot of other tables also which gets updated every time when you do the transaction. If you remember the example that I shown you in first or second session related to table MARC, there is some background noise. Please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. So I'd shown you one of the example of MARC or MARD. What exactly is MARC and MARD? These are the tables which are holding the aggregates. Now what is aggregates? So let me just show you this example in the Excel, which will help you in understanding what are the aggregate tables. Okay, let me know once you are able to see the Excel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you have table MKPF and you have table MSEC. See, normally what happens is whenever you do the goods receipt, okay, for let's say quantity 10 for the first time. So this is a new material for which there was no stock earlier. Okay, so what happens is in the MKPF you get the header information, okay, which will tell you from which, for example, what is the date of the materials movement, okay, and what is the time, okay. Maybe MKPF also gives you the information in terms of which is the accounting document which is correlating with the MKPF, with the material document. So the header information you get in MKPF, and in MSEC you get the detailed information like which particular material, how much quantity, how much rate, all that things you get in MSEC. But these are not the only tables, because if I give the example of MARD, for example, which stores the material information at the plant level. So when you create the material master, at the plant level, this table holds the information. Okay, the master data information is held by the table MARD. But it is not only the master data. Apart from master data, there are some additional columns in MARD, like unrestricted quantity. I'll show you in the system. Unrestricted quantity. So what exactly this unrestricted quantity is used for? This is a dynamic field. Normally, master data tables are static. Static means they, I'll not say static, I'll say they are less frequently updated. The transaction tables are updated 1,000 times in a day, like MKPF and MSIG, they get updated 1,000 times in a day because you are doing transactions again and again. But when you talk about table MARD, this is only updated normally, it is a material master table, so it should be only updated whenever a new material has been created or whenever an existing material has been changed. But that is not the case. What is happening is, each time whenever MSIG is getting updated, there is also the updation in this MARD table in the field unrestricted quantity. So as I told you, good receipt is done for 10 quantity. In the unrestricted quantity, it will be dynamic field which will calculate and save as 10. So what it will say, for this particular plant, for this particular material, the available quantity is 10. Again, you do the goods issue for 5. Okay, second transaction, it will definitely go into MKPF and MSIG, but it will also go into the MARD also. It will not add any new value. It will perform the calculation 10 minus 5. So available quantity will become 5. So what is happening? Every time whenever you are doing the transaction, every time whenever you do any material movement transaction, it is not only affecting these two tables, it is also affecting this MARD table. This is just one example. There are tens of tables which are called as aggregate tables in SAP. From materials management point of view itself, there are more than 8 to 10 tables. From financial, there are more tables. So there are a lot of tables which are holding the totals. Now the question is, why these totals are stored? If I give you the simple example, if in MSIG, I have two lines. One is plus 10 quantity, another is minus 5 quantity. So whenever I want to perform the report, whenever I want how much quantity is available, can't the system go directly to MSIG and perform this calculation and tell me, okay, 5 is available? Why it is not performing the calculation during the reporting time? Why it is performing the calculation during the transaction time? Calculation is getting performed at the time of transaction. Why not at the time of report? You have the answer, right? Because reports are already slow in ECC. If I've tried this logic, and in MSIG there are 10,000s of transactions in a day. So if I want to perform the calculation of a particular material which is being transacted from 5 years or 10 years, you can understand how much time it will take to give me the result, right? That is the reason there are a lot of aggregate tables which are available in ECC. But now with SAP S/4HANA in place or SAP HANA database in a place, these calculations can be done in milliseconds. Even if you have 10 years of data, you have a lot of data in one table, SAP HANA has a very powerful calculation engine. And that is the reason now after each and every transaction, there is no need of updating this quantity. It is not required at all. So what will happen? During the time of transaction, only your main tables will be affected. Okay, there is another main table which is added is MAT-DOC. We'll talk about this also. So MAT-DOC will hold all the transactions, 10,000 transactions in a day, so you can understand how many transactions will be available in a single table from last 10 years or 15 years. But then too, with the power of SAP HANA calculation engine, it will perform the calculations in milliseconds. That is the reason these calculations will be performed during the reports, not during the transactions. So how it will improve your performance? It will improve my performance because currently there are tens of tables which are updated after each transaction. Now, if I follow this approach, there will be only 3 tables, for example. So what I am saving the transaction time. It is quite obvious. If I do the transaction and it is trying to update 10 tables in the background, it will take more time rather than updating only 3 tables in the background. So my transactions will become faster. My reports will become faster because I'm using the power of SAP HANA as a calculation engine. And my reports calculations are being performed in the runtime, that too with the higher speed. These are the 2 benefits in terms of transaction, in terms of report also. But another important major benefit, why we are looking for speed. So you will all agree. For example, we are around 15 people here in this class. if I ask all of you to do a transaction, same transaction on same material, okay, definitely system will take time. Why it will take time? Because if a single person is already working on a particular material, till the time all the tables are not updated in the background, if it allows the other person to do the transaction, it will create the inconsistency. I'll give the simple example of bank. Same bank account, all of us knows the user ID and password. Okay, first of all, forget about the check that it will not allow you to log in at all. Multiple logins are not allowed, but consider that yes, multiple logins are allowed. So if you have, let's say, 50,000 available in your bank account, and all of you are trying to log in into the same account and trying to do the transaction of 50,000. So if the system allows, it will be the big fraud, right? Same thing happens in SAP. If there is 50 quantity available, and if I ask you to issue 50 quantity for all the 10%, 15% who are in the course, in the class now, if I ask you to do the issue of 50 out of the available quantity of 50, system is not going to allow you because system creates locks. There are the data locks in the system. You may not be knowing as a functional consultant, but definitely when a person is trying to do the transaction on a particular material, if second person comes, it will not give the error. It will not give the error like it gives in master data. If you're changing the master data, if another person goes and try to change, it will throw the error that the other person is processing this master data. In case of transactions, it doesn't throw the error, but it makes the system slow. Till the time all the tables are not updated from the first person, it will not allow the second person to do the transaction. Although it will show that the transaction is working, it will allow you to wait, and once it is completed, then only the second transaction will be done. So this creates the data locks in the system. But now with SAP S/4HANA, with HANA calculation engine, the memory data footprint is lower. That is the reason the data locks will be definitely created because they are required. Otherwise, it can create inconsistency. But earlier, let's say if it was taking 10 seconds to perform the transaction, now it will be within 1 second. So data logs will come down, which means faster processing. Okay, same thing is mentioned in the PPT. Let me just go back to PPT once again. So earlier, we had two main tables, MKPF and MSEG. Additionally, there were aggregated tables. So you know now what are the aggregated tables, which are holding the totals, which are getting calculated during the transactions. So the aggregateds were getting stored in several different tables. Some of these tables do also store material master. I have given you the example of MARD. It is not only storing the totals, it is also storing the master data attributes of material. Okay, so the tables which are holding both the master data information and the aggregates, they are normally called as hybrid tables because it consists of master data as well as transactional data. The tables which are only holding the totals, they are called as the only aggregated tables. Okay, but now the new denormalized table called as MATDOC has been introduced, which contains the former header and item data of material document as well as lot of further attributes. So whatever information you get in MKPF, MSEG, all that information plus additional information is stored in MATDOC. So going forward, if you are, let's say, writing a query, if you want to create a FS for a particular report, you can directly go to MATDOC rather than going on to 3 different tables to access the information. Okay, all the information you will be getting at one place, that is MATDOC. So material documents data will be stored in MATDOC only and not anymore in MKPF and MSEG. This is something which you'll find written in the simplification list. But if you check in the system, as of now, these are still getting updated. So we can assume that this will go off in future. But as of today, there is definitely the redundancy. There is definitely the repetition. Same information is repeated in MKPF and it is also repeated in MATDOC. But we can understand that this is because SAP wants to make sure that if they completely remove MKPF and MSEG and they realize later that some of the scenarios MATDOC is not comfortable, that will be a huge loss to the business and huge loss to SAP in terms of the reputation. And that is the reason they kept these options as of now. MKPF and MSEG is also available and MATDOC is also available. But going forward, once they once they have the trust or confidence that yes, MAT DOC is getting perfectly all the results, then definitely these two tables are going to be removed. Otherwise, there is no point of creating the redundancy. So MAT DOC will be the only table which will be holding all the information related to the materials movement. These tables will be deleted in future. What will happen to the other tables? So for example, if the example that I gave you, MARC or MARD. Now you have written some reports, customer has written some reports, which are trying to get the information from MARC and MARD, and that too from the field unrestricted quantity. So as I told you earlier, during the transaction, the calculations were performed and the unrestricted quantity was updated in real time during the transaction. And if at any point of time, if I want to know what is the stock available for this material on a particular plant, I can directly go to table MARD or MARC and get that information. Even the standard reports, the stock analysis, they get the information from these two tables. But now, as I told you, these tables will not going to store the quantity related information. So what will happen to my reports? What will happen to my standard reports, and what will happen to my Z reports? Standard report, we can understand SAP might have done something, so that will work as it is. But if I have, let's say, two reports, which are the custom reports, what will happen to them? So again, SAP knows that it will create the big resistance from the client if you don't provide them the solution. SAP has provided the solution for that also, which means you don't need to worry. Even if MARC is not storing the totals, but when you perform the same report that you written, that will still give you the same results. How? By redirecting the control internally to different tables. So it is like today, if I am asking MARC, what is the total available quantity? MARC is having that data. It is giving me, okay, this is the quantity. But now, since MARC doesn't have that information, and still I am asking MARC, okay, what is the available quantity? MARC will not say, I don't have this information, and it will not throw any error. What it will do internally is, MARC will ask the information from MAT DOC. It will perform the calculation, and to the user, he will get the same information he was getting till now. So this internal routing has been done from MARC to MAT DOC, right? Which means at any point of time, if you want to get the information from MARC, that will be still available. But at the same time, this information is not directly coming from MARC, it is coming from MAT DOC. So MARC will not hold any data. It will not consume any memory resources. It will just redirect and get the information from other table. This concept is called as views, CDS views. CDS views are what? Which are redirecting you to some other tables. Okay, so what will happen? All the mentioned tables of SAP ERP world do still exist in HANA as DDIC definitions. DDIC definitions means views, as well as database objects, and the hybrid tables will still be used to store the material master data attributes. So we are not saying MARC table will be deleted. We cannot delete that because it is not only holding the unrestricted quantity, it is holding the master data. So MARC will remain as it is. It will hold the master data, but only thing is the field unrestricted quantity that will not be calculated during the transaction. It will be calculated whenever a user is asking some information, and it will be calculated using the HANA calculation engine and after getting the information from MAT DOC. Alright. So CDS views assigned as the proxy objects to all those tables, ensuring that each read access, same thing what we discussed, read access to one of the mentioned tables below still returns the same data as before. Okay, no need to worry about this conversion pre-check. This anyways we'll be talking about when we talk about the conversion process. Okay, so key takeaways. MKPF and MSEG are still available, although in the documentations you'll find these are no more available, they are still available. Okay, and the tables which we are holding the aggregates, although they are not available as the data is not directly available in those tables, but SAP will automatically redirect the control to the tables which holds that data. And from the end user point of view, he will not realize also, but he will be getting the same information even at the faster speed because of HANA. Right? Any question till now?
Yeah, previous template. This is any example for this aggregated tables what we are storing?
Hybrid tables, these are the examples. MARC, MARD, MCHB, these are all hybrid tables. Why they are hybrid? Because they are not only storing the aggregates. If I given you the example in Excel, let me open this on SAP itself. Let me show you.
Yes, both
See,
are
if
different. Aggregate and hybrid tables are different or same?
No, see, by the name, aggregates are the tables which are only holding the totals. And hybrid are the tables which are holding the totals plus they're also holding the master data. I'll give you the example, very best example. So if I go for table SE16N, okay, MARC. Now see, MARC, it is holding master data, material, plant, valuation category, batches, valid from, ABC indicator. This is all coming from the master data. Also, it is holding some aggregate columns, like as I told you, unrestricted quantity. So let me show you unrestricted quantity column here. Let me try to find this. Unrestricted. Okay, maybe some other field. Let's go for MARD. It is holding the totals, but it may not be the same name. So here it is definitely there in MARD. See, unrestricted quantity. So now this plant, storage location, maintenance level, current period, these are coming from the master data. While this unrestricted, this is the aggregate field. So since it is holding master data as well as aggregates, it is called as aggregate table. Okay, now if you want the example of totals tables, aggregate tables, best example is financial table, FAGL Flex T. I don't know how many of you are comfortable on this particular table. I'll tell you what exactly this is. This FAGL Flex T table only holds aggregates, nothing else. There is no master data, only hold aggregates. Okay, and that is the reason, since it was only holding the aggregates, there is no need of this table, and this has been converted as a complete view. Okay, let's say for example, I'll tell you how to find out what exactly this will do when you ask any information from this table. So this table was available in ECC, and many reports, many SAP standard reports, even the balance sheet, profit and loss, they all come from this table. But now this table is not available at all. So what will happen to my reports? All my reports are based on these tables. If I remove this table, what will happen to my reports? So although this is deleted as a table, but this is still available as a view. I'll tell you how. So if I go for SE11 instead of SE16, so for FAGL Flex T, if I click on display, see this is available as a view, and I want to see from where the data will come internally. See, data is coming from FGLV FAGL Flex T. If I double click on this, this is again a view. Okay, from where the data is coming? It is coming from all these tables. Again, if I click on a particular, it is again a view. So ultimately, all the data is coming from one single table called as ACDoc from accounting point of view. So this is one very good example of the aggregate tables, which are only holding the aggregates. And there are some tables which are not only holding the aggregates, they are also holding the master data. They are called as the hybrid tables. Okay?
Yeah, fine.
Gaurav Sharmila here.
Yes.
See, for this table, SAP might have taken care of while reading as well as the update part. Say in MARC table, if I add my Z field by extending the table, okay, then in that case, how do I update it into the
Yes,
my table?
yes, very valid question. So for that, if you have written some update code on a particular table, which is no more available as a table, which has been converted as a view, then definitely that program will fail. Update and insert, these two things are only going to work if that table exists as a table. If that table has been removed as a table and available as a view, then update and insert code will not work at all. So how will you know that? How will you come to know that I want to make these changes here? So again, as I told you, in order to find out whether my custom objects will work as it is, or I need to adjust it before I go for the SAP S/4HANA implementation, you need to use the custom code analyzer tool. So select statements will work as it is, while update and insert, they definitely need to be adjusted according to the new architecture.
So you'll be showing that custom tool.
Sorry, Shamna?
You will be showing that the custom tool converter what SAP has provided.
Yes. During the conversion, we will be talking about that tool.
Okay.
Because that is only relevant in the conversion. During the time of new implementation, there is no question of custom objects because you are implementing everything for the first time. But when we talk about the conversion, that is the very important topic we will be discussing in detail.
Okay.
Gaurav, a few questions. Now, I understand CDS views, it stands for Core Data Services Views. So how do I know it's a view or a standard table? So one example that you showed, it was clearly showing as view. But for example, if you go to MAD, MAD or MASRC, etc., so they are still showing as table. So how do I know it's a view or a table? And the other question is, I understand obviously SAP would have given a default CDS view. So how do I kind of find out what are the existing standard CDS views that I can access? And extending to what Shamila asked, so can I create custom CDS views? And
Yes. Okay, let me just answer this. So to answer your question, let me start with the first question. So how are we going to know? Although I was planning to take this in the tomorrow, we'll be discussing practicality in that. But since you asked the question, let me just tell you. So for example, I given you the example of Kaggle FlexD, which has been completely converted as the view. Okay, so in SE11, okay, when you execute this, when you click on display, first thing you will find is that this view fields. Okay, normally this is only fields. In case of table, this will be only fields. This is one thing. Let me show you side by side. So if I open SE11 once again, and if I go for MARC, as you said, display, so you can see this is available as the fields. Okay, first thing.
So,
second thing.
No, so I thought, so for example,
Raghu, I understand your question. Just give me 1 minute, that will be solved. I got your point.
Okay.
See, second thing is, if it is a table, then only you will find this information. Append, structure, indexes, technical settings. This you will not find here. This all options are not available.
You're right, the table maintenance generator card. Yes.
Yes. Other thing, like as I told you, if it is a view, then definitely the data is coming from some tables, right? Which are those tables? You'll find under this table and join condition. So maybe in some of the views you'll find direct table. In some of the views you can find one view is dependent on another view is dependent on third view is dependent. It can be like views can be created on top of views also. So it may happen that you can directly find a table. I think this is a table. If I show you, this is directly available as a table and it is coming from view also. Okay, so one table and one view. So this is how you can find out which tables are giving the data to this view. First thing. Now, as you understand these two things, the table and view, now coming to your question, I got your question. You are expecting that since MARC is also the aggregate table, why it is not converted as a view, right?
Correct.
So Raghu, I told you there are two kind of tables. One is the aggregated tables, which are only storing the totals. And second is the hybrid tables, which are not only holding the totals, they are also holding the master data. So the tables which are only holding the aggregates, I can remove it completely because I can perform the calculation in runtime now. But if the tables are also holding the master data, I need some table, right? I cannot delete that.
So got it. I got your point. So there are some aggregate fields here. Have they been removed or they still exist but will not be populated?
Yes, these fields are still available. So for example, if I show you MARD, you will be able to see these fields. Yes, you will be able to see these fields even in SAP S/4HANA also, even the unrestricted stock. But the thing is, whatever value will be stored in this table or in this field, whenever you execute this report or execute this for a particular material or plant combination, it will still show you the quantity. Unrestricted quantity, it will still show you, but it doesn't mean that this quantity is, Yes, this quantity is stored there. It is not stored. It is getting calculated whenever
fly.
you are performing the execution. Yes, on the fly.
Yeah, got it, got it.
Yes.
Gaurav, this is Vijay. With the same node, MKPF and MSAG, they were all, both of them are purely aggregate tables. They are converted to views now.
No. They are not aggregates. MKPF and MSTEC, they were the main tables. They were the transaction tables.
Transaction. So whenever I do a material movement, it will update along with the MAT DOC, or it is coming from MAT DOC to MKPF and MSAG.
No, it is updating both as of today. But plan is MKPF and MSEC will be deleted completely going forward. So as of today,
So both will be updated in parallel. MAT
Yes,
DOC
currently-
and MK.
yes, currently both are updated in parallel,
Okay.
which is a repetition. That is something which is completely understandable because same thing is getting updated in two different tables. But this is only for the temporary. This is only the temporary solution. Since this is a new table, we need to build some trust and confidence into that, and then this will be deleted.
Okay.
So Gaurav, another question for me. So I do not see any difference between the view we used to have in ECC. I mean, that is exactly how we define views, combining, joining tables,
Yes.
etc. And so there's no really, so just that the name sounded very, hi-fi, CDS view. So I thought
Yes.
there's something different here, but there is nothing.
No.
I can't see any difference. Is there any? If you know.
No. There is no difference. There is no difference. The name you will find somewhere, you will find HANA views, CDS views, or maybe only views, but they are all one and the same thing.
Okay, thank you. Just on that point, are we going to discuss CDS views in generally, especially with respect to the LIS and those tables, or later sometime? Because that is one of the big changes, right? The LIS structures.
Sorry, where exactly?
So the LIS, Logistics Information Systems, and the SIS systems,
Mhm.
I believe they will be available in S4HANA. However, there is an option to, I think they will be replaced by views as what I read in the simplification.
Yes,
document.
wherever there are changes in the tables, that we are going to discuss anyways.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Okay, let me just go to the slides once again. Yes.
Actually, you said that MKPF and MSEC will be, deleted and MAT-DOC will come. So, as far as MM is concerned, are there any other tables which are getting deleted and new tables are coming in, or this is only with MKPF?
Arijit, sorry, your voice is not clear.
So, you said that MKPF and MSEC will be deleted and MAT-DOC will come into the picture. Is there any other tables which are getting deleted as far as MM is concerned, or these are the only two tables that are getting changed?
No, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things. So we'll talk one by one because we just started. So this is the main tables, but there are a lot of tables which you'll find in throughout the course, which will be deleted.
So as far as MM is concerned, you're saying, right?
Yes. In MMSD, there are a lot of tables which are either already deleted or maybe they are planned to be deleted. All these things we'll discuss. Okay. So I think we should stop here today. I have some other activity in next 10 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll start from here tomorrow, and also we'll start off with the practical. So whatever we discussed, we'll create some 1 or 2 purchase orders, and I'll show you when you do the goods movement, how exactly the new tables are going to be updated, what is the impact on MAT, DOC, MKPF, MSEG, all these things we'll see in detail, and also the simplified pricing, the new output determination. I don't think new output determination will be able to cover tomorrow, but in the next session you'll be able to understand how exactly the BRF plus is going to work.
The BRF plus, I'm very interested in that topic. So do we have in your the system that we are accessing or you can access, do we have
Yes,
examples that we can actually build? That is a big topic, big change actually.
Yes. We have the scenarios, we'll configure the scenarios, we'll print using the new technology. That is all possible.